Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Two Shot Tuesday. It's Barry Nixon with the one and only Jason Riley with you for another week. And Jay, we have some exciting things to talk about. We're
Yeah.
going to primarily focus on a staple around here, which is ripped from the headlines.
Yes.
But before we do that, how about a welcome to you? Thanks for
Yeah.
being here.
And thank you
Thanks for making the
for
time.
thanks for having me each and every week. Yeah, we've got a format on the show, and there is something I want to hear from you after we do our first shot. And I think it'll
Okay.
be a lovely update for our wonderful listeners and viewers. In the meantime, to kick us off, I can tell you that I have got some Bushmills Black Bush from the old
Oof.
LCBO as an alt to my to the Black Barrel. How about yourself?
I'm sticking with the Black Barrel. I still have some, and I'm savoring every sip.
All right.
First one's for you, Jay.
And you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Woo. A real shiver. Oh
There
my.
was a bit of a north wind that just blew right
Yeah.
through me.
All right. Mine's pretty smooth, but a little bite, but not so bad. Before we leap into any rip from the headlines, you had the opportunity not too long ago to visit an historic location here in
Yeah.
the city of Toronto, and I would really appreciate it. I know our listeners and viewers, I've been there, would love to hear your escapades to a place we like to call Casa Loma.
hmm The first thing
Take
I
us
learned is not called Castle Loma.
No, or Castle
No.
Oma. Sounds like grandma's
Yeah.
castle. Castle
Yeah.
Oma. Yeah.
So those were some things right off the hop that I learned.
Okay. Did you
I
think it
thought
was castle?
at first, and
You did?
then I did a thing called read and
Yeah.
realized
Nice.
that it's missing a few letters to be a
Mhm.
castle. However, that doesn't take away from the grandeur of Casa Loma. It's pretty spectacular. And one thing I didn't realize when we got there was some of the X-Men films were shot there.
Yes. The first one, I believe.
And parts of Days of Future Past. And
Really?
yeah.
That I didn't know.
Or was it Apocalypse? It was
I
another
don't
one.
know.
It wasn't just the first one. Like the interior of, Xavier's School for the Gifted. A lot of those interior shots were from the castle.
Interesting. Casa.
Casa. From the
Yeah, from the
casa.
casa.
There was also apparently a scene from Cocktail with Tom Cruise shot at Casa Loma, which
I
I
don't
had
know
no
that.
idea. Yeah. There were posters down in the basement that told you what movies were shot there.
Yeah, the superhero one, the Saves the World.
Yeah,
Chris
Scott
Evans was in
Pilgrim.
it. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim Saves the World. That was shot there too. There were some scenes
Yeah,
I
it
think
was.
yeah.
It
Interesting.
was a bunch.
What did you think about Casa Loma?
I liked it. We went with my nephews.
Yeah.
I just
How
have
did
to
they
say
like
this
it?
off the hop.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. Okay. But
Okay.
I do have to say this just for anyone considering a visit. It's $50 just to go for an adult, and it's $30 for a kid under 13.
Not
Which,
cheap.
I mean, I think they need to calm down a little bit. Like, this was just a regular Saturday. There was no jousting tournament. There was nothing over and above just the casa. So I thought it's a little steep for what it is. Like, we wandered around for a little while, but I don't know, $50 can get you lawns at RBC Amphitheater for a band you might want to see. So when you put it into that type of context, Linda and I were both like, I'm glad we went. But at the same time, it just seemed a little steep for what it was.
Yeah, I will say they have some experiences through the year, like, because we were just
Right.
down the street from it, and they have like outdoor haunted lands for Halloween. They have a Christmas lights thing
Mhm.
for like $100+ to walk through the grounds in the cold. And I'm like, we've walked away from it. Like we've been walked up, like, how much? No,
Yeah.
thank you. That's a bit too much for some lights and some scares for the kids. Hey, if you love it, great. And we also went in and we paid the $50 to go in. What struck you
It just
as,
seems a bit much.
yeah, what struck you though, once you were in and buyer's remorse had melted away because you were taken
yeah.
in by the scape of it.
It went away immediately. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that off the hop just for anyone considering a visit.
What did you really like about it? What stood out?
Let's see. Probably the turrets. You were right
You-
about that, by the
Did
way.
you do the
You
turrets? Both?
recommended. We went to
Yeah.
both. Actually, no, the second turret was closed for some unknown reason.
You didn't ask.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there was no one there to ask. It was
Okay.
it was pretty much just follow the signs. It
Yeah.
wasn't very well attended the day we went because it was kind of drizzly and rainy, but that's actually fine. We were actually, we didn't find ourselves rubbing up against people. You had room to kind of move around. But the turrets were fun, and my nephews loved that part. What they didn't like, and I was kind of surprised by this because they have young legs, they were complaining about the number of stairs. I'm like, You're 10. You're 10 years old. What are you talking about complaining about
Yeah.
stairs? Anyway, so we kind of laughed about that. But I remembered. I was like, You're 10 years old. You should be happy to see stairs. You should be excited to see stairs.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe.
Excited.
I don't know.
And did you notice what I mentioned, that when you go up there, it's kind of shoulders tight when you're going up those stairs? There's not a lot of room for, you can't pass anybody. It's very, very
No.
tight
Yeah, the
quarters as you're
circular.
twisting around the staircase. Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I had to turn sideways a couple times,
Yeah.
almost got stuck.
You got to be
So, yeah.
sure-footed coming down too, especially
Ooh,
at our age, because it's a steep down, and you don't want to miss a step because
there's
you'll
no
go right
margin
down.
for error, Jay, at all. So, yeah, we were on the way down. We were stuck behind a family that was very slow moving.
I
And
hate
it was
that.
fair because, where they had like a baby strapped to the father or to the man, and this other little kid behind who was complaining that Oliver, my oldest nephew, was too close to him. I'm like, we're on a very tight staircase. What are you talking about too close? Like, he was just going
Yeah.
down at his normal pace.
Yep.
Anyway, I just know it was noteworthy. It wasn't anything to get in a twist over, but it was
No.
something to note.
Okay.
And you know how I
You
like
didn't.
to do that.
Yeah. No fisticuffs came of it.
No. It was just some
Okay.
people are whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stood out. Also, like, what else? We weren't able to access any of the outdoor areas. It was all fenced
What?
off. Yeah. Like, I
That's
know that there's gardens and such, but we
They're
weren't able to
nice.
access that.
That's too bad. Well, that's too bad. For $50, you think you'd have the run of the place?
You'd think. You'd think you'd be able
Yeah.
to jump in at one of the beds and, just have some fun. But
Yes.
no, couldn't do that. I will say some of the bathroom fixtures were kind of interesting. Did you notice that there was one like old school, well, everything in there is old school, but like this stand-up shower that looked like a cage inside of a shower that you stood under. And it was like a very early rain style shower. Did you notice
Nice.
that?
I don't
Did you go in
remember it.
there?
We went in, looked at all the rooms, but I don't remember that one. But yeah, that's cool.
It was
So
kind of
you're like
creepy though.
in a bird cage every time you're
You're
taking
in
a
a bird
shower.
cage. Yeah. It was before they figured out they can put the pipes behind the tile. This was like
Right. Yeah.
you were going into the cage, but there was still tiling all around you. But I thought that was kind of neat. I guess at the time it was like state of the art because there was like a little poster from whatever consumers distributing wherever they bought it saying that, this is how you work it. And there was like so many knobs and dials. I'm like, isn't it just hot and cold? Like, I don't know what some of these knobs and dials were supposed to do. Because to
Yeah.
me, it looked like it's just a
Massage
simple
feature.
plug
Yeah.
and play. Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe.
No,
Maybe it
maybe.
had some pulsing coming from the top. I don't know. But
Yeah.
that stood out in my mind. That was kind of
Can I tell you, at the mini mansion, we always look to sort of emulate little parts of mansion experience and try to scale it way
course.
down to mini mansion size. So in our
Yeah.
basement that I told you we're doing, we're actually going to have some pipes in front of there won't be a tiled wall, and we're going to have exposed copper pipes for the
You're going to
shower.
have a cage?
No
Whoa,
cage. We don't have a cage. Maybe we'll put one in now that you've mentioned that, but no cage, but
dude.
you will see that exposed copper. So that's a bit of that experience, that classic experience
Yeah.
coming to life in our soon to be done basement.
Yeah, which is what I wanted to ask you about
Yeah.
when we move on to the next segment.
Last
Definitely want to
thing,
get an update on that.
last thing I want to talk about, I want to ask you, what's in the basement? Is it the gift shop or is it the like dining? It's like a little pub also down there too, or a cafeteria. They're
Yeah,
both
which
down there.
you advised to
Not the
avoid,
highlight.
and we
Yeah.
did. We
Yeah.
just we stuck our nose in. I will say, the gift shop is also where you check your coat. So anyone,
Mm.
again, thinking of planning a visit, it's not instinctual that one would go to a gift shop and then turn over their jacket. But this
Yeah.
is how it is there. So,
That's how they
you
did it
know,
in those days.
I guess.
You
Uh,
go to a party, you always leave
it's
your
like
jacket in the gift
at
shop.
the gift shop. Yeah.
Yeah. At the
Which
turn
was
of the
fine. It was
century.
no big deal, but it was just something again to note. And then at the end of the hallway, where the restaurant is that you said to avoid, that's where the pool used to be. Remember, did you go into that room? There was like a theater room now. It's been converted, but it used to be a pool. And I thought,
we
man,
didn't.
this is kind of like dark and dank. Like, no wonder they got rid of the pool eventually. Like, the idea
Yeah.
of having a pool in the basement, and had kind of like a thick odor as well
Yeah.
in that room. And in
Yeah.
that particular section, I was just like, ooh. So we didn't
Yeah.
stick around long.
Not a great place for food. That's either.
We did
like,
wrap up
that's- Yeah.
for food. We did go for food, but we went to Taste of China on Spadina, and I can't say enough good things about that place.
Affiliated with
Fantastic.
Casa Loma. Yeah. It's complete the
That's where we
experience with Taste of China.
Yeah. And it's
Nice.
very, very authentic. And a good friend of mine once told me years ago, and it always stayed with me, when the Chinese food chefs are off shift, this is where they come to eat. And I never forgot it. And he's 100% true. We were the only Caucasians in there. It was middle of the day, packed, and it was just as authentic as you can get. And my family had hot and sour soup for the first time. And
Okay.
both my nephews ate everything that was presented. They didn't turn
Nice.
their nose up at anything, even soft shell crab. So
I would have
big time
turned my
points
nose
for
up.
them.
Nice. Terrific. That's great. Well, I'm glad you had a good
There you go.
experience and you
I
got
did.
in as much as you could. The one thing will mention to complete the Casa Loma experience for you, and I may have mentioned this to you, but the man who built it, he built that for his wife, who I think had passed away, but he built it for like during the making of it. And then he went broke during the making of it. And he ended up living in an apartment just down close by us in an old apartment building down here. So he had to watch his castle be finished when he had lost all of his money. Isn't that something?
It's too
In the
bad.
shadow. He lived in the shadow of his own casa.
Damn.
That's how it
That
goes
is
sometimes.
heartbreaking.
We got a format on the show. Why don't we do shot number 2? We can talk about some rip from the headlines. I'll touch on my basement reno just so that for completeness, because you did ask.
Yeah,
So
I did ask.
we'll
And
do
those
that.
pictures are looking real good. It's looking like homes on homes over there. For those
Okay.
who know what that show is.
Nice
All
reference.
right,
Yeah.
Jay. Shot number 2, same as the first with some black barrel. And what about you, my friend?
I got same as the first with the black bush.
Okay. Here's to
Cheers.
you.
And you.
Cheers.
Wow,
Ooh,
tough for you tonight.
both were tough.
Yeah, I'm noticing you're a bit more subdued tonight, which is okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. I hear you. I hear you. Let me give you a real quick update on the
Subdued.
basement reno, and then we're going to do
Please. This is
at
going to
least
get me
one
fired up.
rip from the headlines. Okay, here we go. So it has been, 5 years we've been in the house. We haven't really touched the basement. It was like a
5
1980s.
years? Whoa.
Yeah, moved in 2021. It's been April 1st, 2021. So just over 5 years. So we finally got to the basement. We had to do a lot of work ripping things out, doing all electrical, all the unfun stuff. But executive producer Aldo Roma has a vision of some exposed brick, some polished concrete,
For
we're
the
going to put
floor.
a carpet down there. Yeah, for the floor. This is going to be a space that's not a flex space, but a space that we can use for multiple things. So we can do some working out down there. We can relax
Hmm.
down there. So
Hmm.
we've got pot lights in. We're using the space. It's a low ceiling. I can stand up in it, but I can't do much more than stand up in it. So we're limited in what we can do, but we are going to have some storage down there. And soon this basement will be usable. I used to use it to do some working out with boxes, as you saw. You were down there a few times, just
Yeah.
stacked all around me, if you can remember. So that will all be taken care of. We're going to have a place for storage, and have a place for the workout equipment, and a place to relax, wall-mounted TV potentially, some surround
Ooh.
sound. So
Yeah.
we're gonna
I
see what we
love
can
it.
do down there to help create a nice secondary cozy experience down there. That's what it's
And
all about.
where are you with guest quarters? Will there be a place to have an overnight guest if they're in the basement?
Who knows? I don't know if people want to stay in the basement, but
No?
I don't know if it's gonna be that
On a nice
cozy.
couch? Yeah,
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know if it'll
maybe.
be that cozy. Is that where you want to be instead of being in your home 20 minutes away? You would rather
I'm not
be
saying
in
for
the
me, but
basement?
you have a
It
big
was
family and
implied.
everyone is scattered to the four winds. If they come by, they might have a place to stay.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. You know what? We can certainly accommodate people. My brother will be here in a few hours, and he'll
Well,
be he'll be
that's what I'm
staying
saying.
upstairs, not in the basement.
Right. Okay, last question. Did you pitch Aldo on the tartan rug for the basement?
I did
Did
not.
you even mention it?
No, it's been chosen
Okay.
already, so I don't want to introduce
Well,
any complication
maybe
in
your
that.
next basement,
Perhaps,
you'll
perhaps.
consider
Yeah.
it.
Thank you for your suggestion to turn it into a
Yeah, I'll be
pub-like
sure to mention it to
atmosphere.
him when I see him.
All right. Before we go, we're going to do a rip from the headlines. Barry, you
Let's
worked
do
hard
it.
to send it to me. I'm going to open them up. I'm going to go scroll right through them. There we go. And I see a picture of one that you're going to like. Yeah, I got to do this one because it's for you. And I'm sure you know exactly which one's going to be.
I think I do.
Magic mushrooms could help people quit smoking. Barry,
Right.
big news. Talk to me
It's
about this.
huge.
You don't have to go beyond the headline to know all you need to know about the what are magic mushrooms called? What's the fungi psilocybin experience?
Yeah, the magic of psilocybin, it is truly wondrous what this little thing can do. And now
How?
there's been some linkage to quitting smoking. Now I've quit smoking cigarettes many, many years ago, but
Yeah.
I've heard that this potentially could be helpful for people
How do you
getting
think?
through. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of brain rewiring. It's a little bit of. I
Maybe
did go a little bit beyond the headline on
you
this one.
did.
I
I
had
don't
to.
care for that.
Yeah, just a
Can I
little bit. Yeah.
guess? Then
Yeah.
maybe it's
Sure. Sure.
maybe you get so stoned you can't hold your cigarette and you just keep dropping it. So eventually you drop it, you get frustrated, you just say, I'm not even
And
going
you
to
say,
pick
"I'm
this up
done."
again. You think that's it?
Say, "This is for the. This is crazy. This is what a crazy
Yeah.
person would do. I'm not doing it."
Yes.
Yeah, it could be that, or it also could just be you get to a place where you start to put in perspective what is important in life. And perhaps smoking
Psilocybin
is
does
not
that?
the most, yeah, psilocybin does do that for you.
Okay.
It can help to
Really?
keep you centered. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's been, I mean, you have had it. I have had it. I don't know what, yeah, I think your experience was a little bit different when we did it all those years ago.
Yeah, I
But
didn't love it, and you guided.
yeah,
You were the great
I
Sherpa
was the
on the
shaman.
guide.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't for me. But so you're telling me you felt centered on the experience?
I did. And it
Okay.
also, like,
Always?
since I've been in my older years,
Yes.
not when I was
Okay.
a 20 something doing it, it's just recreation. It's just pure fun. But now it's a little bit different. You can become a little more introspective. You can also become a little more empathetic and have more empathy for just the world in general and for people's situations. So yeah,
Well,
I think it's a good thing. There's
let me tell
another,
you.
there's
Yeah.
another mushroom, this is kind of adjacent to what we were just talking about, but there's a drug called ibogaine that apparently has rewiring properties. It's the same kind of thing. It's like a psychedelic drug, but it is in no way enjoyable. It is in no way recreational. Apparently, it's a hellish, like 8-ish hours of you just kind of reliving traumas in your own life. But then when you come out of it, there have been, like, soldiers who come back from war. They find that they're able to get through PTSD that they suffered by having this experience. Also, people have reported quitting drinking, stopping smoking, stopping being addicted to, opioids. So I don't know. It's kind of cool, but this is like, now finally coming to the forefront. People are, experimenting and thinking about natural remedies that have been here for thousands of years.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so you're saying they by reliving traumatic experiences that makes them want to give up other things that are bad for them
And also just get past some of that trauma, release
and get
it.
some past trauma. It's there. So you're just it's like you're
You're faced
binging
with
on
it.
your trauma. And so
Yeah.
you've
It doesn't sound
indulged it
fun, right?
so much. No, it
Yeah.
doesn't. But that it gets
Sounds
it out of your
hellish.
system. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
hellish to me.
Gets it out of your system. That's a good way of thinking of it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Apparently, soldiers have benefited from using it, and there are some states in the US where it's now being used as a treatment for very serious PTSD. And again, this is not anything recreational. It's the last thing in the world anyone would do because they want to have
yeah.
fun with it. That's not what it's designed for.
Full prescription gets is it
It's from Mother Nature.
no, but I mean, do you be prescribed this one or is this one you could buy off the shelf if you wanted to?
I think it's very illegal still, except in
Yeah,
certain states where they're willing to, administer it for
supervised.
medical,
Yeah,
supervised
got it. Okay.
administration. But I don't know. It's pretty exciting. I think the next 5-ish years, you're going to see a lot of headway made with psychedelics just across the board as being something that's beneficial for humans. It's not just something to abuse or to, go crazy on, but it can have
I
some actual benefits. So
Well, I'm going to hold you to
yeah.
that. In 5 years, we're going to have you back on the show with a follow up to this
Uh-huh.
segment for Psychedelic
Yeah.
Corner, and that will be
Hmm.
great. In the
Yeah.
meantime, Barry, other things that you can do to get past any kind of trauma or PTSD in your life is you could listen to the entire Two Shot Tuesday back catalog. We're coming up on
Yeah,
just
you
about
sure
300
could.
episodes. It is the best
We're
way to
getting
do it, but it is
close.
not hellish. It is
No,
fantastic. And we got
it
big
is.
things
It's
planned for
fun.
episode 300 for sure. So that's coming
Hmm.
up. But we got plenty of episodes between now and then as well. We'll be recording that one sometime in the summer, coming up on
Yeah.
July. So
And just a
Barry,
quick
yeah,
preview, if I may, just before you sign us off, Jay, we will be doing a film review this month. It'll be The Mandalorian and Grogu with our movie guy. So stay with us during the month of May. We're going to be touching on that.
excellent. All right. To our listeners and viewers, have a wonderful week. Check back in on us next week. We really appreciate you spending time with us. Barry, you have a great week. I always enjoy spending time with you, and I'll see you next week.
All right, Jay.
Thank you for listening to Two Shot Tuesday. The show is produced by Barry and I and edited by me. If you have yet to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, please take a second to do so now. It helps us grow, and it helps new audiences to find the show. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Shot Tuesday and on Twitter at Two Shot Tuesday Podcast. Stop by, give us a follow, leave us a comment, and share your favorite episodes. If you have a question you'd like featured on the show, you can send us a text at 647-486-4848. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.